How were you able to take what you have learned in the Crooks Racing Driver Development Program and apply it at the ARCA NASCAR Nationwide Series level?
I think there's some fundamentals that any race car driver, whether they're racing at a Saturday night level or racing for a late model championship on a regional level or racing in the ARCA or Nationwide Series, it doesn't matter where you're racing. Those characteristics in a race car driver, I don't think they're necessarily born with it. It's something that either somebody teaches you or you have to learn on your own. But in this scenario, being somebody that didn't start when they were 7 or 8, I started when I was 13, 14. I relied on other people. I relied on people like Gary, because he knows, he's seen drivers that have had success. So he knows he knows the good parts of those drivers, and it's something that we worked on last year. We constantly had meetings, and he'd say, hey, we need to work on you need to, sorry, I need to work on breaking the car down better, whether it's entry, center, exit. And instead of having information that's all jumbled up, which in that case would tend to confuse the crew, and then the changes become less effective. So when you're at that level, or necessarily any level, I think it's important to just be able to think in a way that's effective and not get all caught up in what's going on around you. If you're having a bad day or if the car's not fast, those are situations where the chances of you performing effectively, being able to take everything as it comes and still get good communication, I think it becomes harder to do that. So that's why it's something you have to practice every day. And that's something that we worked on a lot last year and past year and a half. It's something that I still work on now, because I don't think you ever get to a point, unless you're Kyle Busch and you're racing Cup and you do it every week. I think it's always something you have to work on, and always something that you always need somebody to hold you accountable. And that's something that we did last year a lot.
Good. Aside from the obvious track time and driver coaching, what did you take away from the driver developmental program that you did not expect to?
When I moved from Fort Kent, Maine, a year and a half ago, I did that for a couple reasons. Everybody knows Charlotte is, it's the hub of racing. So if you want to make it, or if you want to have success in your career, you most likely have to move down here. And there's some situations where people don't, and they still have success. But for the majority of everybody else, you have to move down here and just make it a part of your life. You have to just think about it all the time, and so that's something that I did. But what I didn't expect is for everybody here to open their door and say, hey, we'll let you be a part of what happens at the shop. And looking back at it, when I started, I'd say my mechanical understanding of what goes on in the race cars was average, maybe a little bit above average. But when I left here, I think it was something that really helped me. It helped my communication with Gary, just knowing what goes on with the race cars, because I had spent so much time here in the shop, and seeing what the guys do on a weekly basis, whether it be maintenance. You don't think that stuff plays a big part in it, but a lot of what makes a good driver is psychological, and you got to be physically fit. But if you're not, going back to the question you asked before, if you're not in a good state of mind and you don't have confidence in what goes on, it's going to be a lot harder to perform at the racetrack. So just having that good support network down here, and being able to ask questions anytime, and it's just important for any driver as they're learning and trying to move up in their career, just to have somebody, or somebody like Gary, or the guys in the shop to bounce ideas off of, and it just goes to it goes to the root of any good driver development program. I think has an all of the above approach. It's not just learning how to qualify, or it's not just learning how to finish a race. It's that and everything else that you're able to put together, package up, and learn from.
Well, good. Well, thank you for coming in this morning and spending time and talking with us.
I appreciate it. Thank you.